Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. It is October 12th and I'm back with another message. One of the apparent guides of this curator is suggesting an uicide note. It seems that this is one of their favorite go-tos for problem solving. They're talking about the political circuit or circus, take it as it resonates. There's been some kind of an alert. They're calling somebody a magistrate, and it seems as though they may have identified this person in the 3D. Or they could just be talking about this person in the ethers. There's something about 10 years ago, which would have been 2015. For me, January 1st of 2015, I was told by he who speaks with authority, the only one who ever has, that 8 years were going to go by quickly, and that was 2023. And now we are here 2 years in, about to approach the third. So a lot of stuff has happened. These masculines are talking about hostages that Hamas has. Now it seems they're trying to cast the illusion or accusation that this female magistrate isn't fit to handle such situations. They seem to continue to be oblivious to what exactly she thinks, she does, how and why she does what she does. They don't seem to understand her flow. Somebody said, if we do this... Now, first off, there was a visual. Around 5 brown-skinned men walked into the room, and they stood like half mooned before me, out to the sides. They looked a little villainous, to be quite honest. One of them seemed to have golden teeth or something like that. So I got a little rude with them, and then I apologized because I wasn't certain if they were like my new scary friends or something. So anyhow, I heard them say, if we do this. So it seems that this is the curator attempting to hire them to do a thing. They want to harm a woman, this magistrate, or take her captive and fake an uicide. They want this energy. They want this temple. They want this mind. They want this role. They want this identity. They want this wealth. They want this authority and influence. They want this access to a upper dimensional or a higher level of timeline. So they need to capture her and then flip her into a South Node suffering so that they can then replace her. The curator is telling them she needs her medicine. So it's like he's trying to convince them that if they obtain her 3D flesh suit, that they can take away the medicine and then cause a failure for her energy in that flesh temple, holding her spirit soul complex. And then he can claim her life force and status and identity and so on and so forth. And it does get rather tiring listening to the sound of a man's voice, many of them, plotting and scheming on how to destroy a powerful woman who has been accepted and elevated by God. I often ask why they are still gifted the opportunity and the privileged opportunity to present as a man or sound like one. Someone said, poop on your porch. Now, when I was a youth, the kids, not that I ever saw it or participated in it, but I heard them talking about doing such things. They would put dog's poop or some kind of poop in a brown paper bag, and then they would place it on somebody's porch, light it on fire, and then ring the doorbell. And then they would sit back behind a bush and watch as that person opened the door, saw the fire, and then stomp on the bag, right? And then they'd get poop all over their foot. And then they would be all upset and they'd ruin their night. And it was apparently a tremendous amount of fun. Juvenile, definitely. a masculine and a calm, deeper voice. And this one is an entity portraying to be an important person in the political realm right now. I won't get too deep into what I know about this person. He claimed a feminine in history and hid her away from the public while pulling on her gifts, intellectual properties, light and life force, her energy. And he claimed her status, her identity, her role, her wealth. He's mumbling about her innocence. And someone is angry, saying, "You should have thought about that." The other day, they asked him why the hell he picked this woman to mess with. They want to identify her in the 3D and KID nap her and fake an uicide and file fraudulent death certificate. They are desperate to recapture her and her energy and her essence. The Most High God has stated that she will never give it back and they will never get it back. So their war isn't really with her. It's with God, who is protecting that essence that he has stated they shall never again receive. So she has been led back into an ascension by the Most High. He's upset how these ones have treated her. She is a magistrate in the ethers. She has the rainbow covenant with the Most High God. And it appears as though there is an overthrowing of a fraudulent governing system and its constituents occurring now. They need to silence this magistrate. They need her essence in order to continue their authority, because she is the one that God has covenant with. She is the one he has lifted into this higher dimensional space. He's taking everything from these people because they stole it and it's not theirs. And they feel if they can affect this magistrate in the 3D and the temple, that they can then once again claim the spirit soul complex and identity and reward. So they think that if they can get this woman's body, that they can once again replace her with a lookalike and that God won't know. It's like they think God's not listening to everything that they're saying. There seems to be an overthrowing of systems, while at the same time, there is an overthrowing of the masculine who is overthrowing the system, if you can follow that line of thinking. These ones are talking about paraphernalia. Now, whether somebody got pulled over and caught with paraphernalia, or they got caught with paraphernalia somewhere else, or they want to get some paraphernalia, or they want to frame somebody, is unclear. Most likely the latter. They appear to be making an executive decision. These high-ranking officials, or whatever they are, want to go into this female's house and do a thing. There could be 5 brown-skinned men that this curator may have hired to do a thing. Or it could be some other agency that wishes to, there's an executive decision. So, and the other day there was an executive order apparently signed for this woman's arrest here in the 3D. So take it as it resonates. I suppose that we'll just have to wait and see how God and his team handle this, because they're coming after something that the Most High has claimed and lifted and given covenant to and authority to. One of these bigger sounding masculines said to the curator, "You disabled everything." Now, in the history, I've listened to them saying that they shut her down in every way that they could think of. They put tourmaline shards in her third eye. They blinded her third eye. They wrapped her crown in a red cloth. They cursed it, hexed it. They poured acid into her brain and cut it up with their psychic surgeries. They put blockages on her heart, on her throat, on her solar plexus, while pulling off of the sacral and the root, draining her energy, downloading death energy into the solar plexus, forcing her to transmute it. So they dimmed her light, harvested what they needed, leaving her only a fraction of what she had to transmute this death energy. They literally had her dressed up as a dead person. They shut her down in every way possible. They took her identity, her memory, her knowledge, her purpose, the reason why she was here, separated her from everyone, broke her bridge to the divine, used her energy to hurt people that she loved, presented themselves as her. They took her, twisted her, tortured her many lifetimes. And now God has found her. He got fed up. Apparently these ones he was watching the whole damn time. And these ones just kept going on and on and on with their scheme. And then he got fed up. So her internal guidance system was activated. He resurrected her and led her back into an ascension. The curator is telling others that she is 90 percentile. And someone is calling her the purifier. Or she is connected to the purifier. Or the purifier is present in some way. One of these masculines said they got incubus in the reverse. They cannot siphon her essence. There will be no asexual encounter. The curator said he was standing right next to her. That could be the sentinel. Or it could be something far greater. Someone far greater. A masculine said, "Here we are again, arguing. There's a necessary and it sounded like he said envelope. There's something about expecting. There's something about notoriety, which often implies the state of being famous or well-known for some bad quality or deed. But funnily, humorously, strangely, it also signifies fame and celebrity, prestige, special recognition, or honor. So the state of being famous or well-known for some bad quality, and then we've got special recognition or honor. Could that be why people are getting these medals of honor? Because they've successfully completed some mission or deed, which is of bad quality? I don't know. Take it as it resonates, but that's that. Before that, they said the word exalted, which is a person placed at a high or powerful level, held in high regard, or in a state of extreme happiness. There's talk of lineage. One masculine is saying, how pure they are, He's talking about the earth angels, the chosen ones of God, how pure they are. Someone is saying that she's a model citizen. And another person is saying, that little girl, They're talking about entry, saying she's a psychic. So it sounds like somebody may be targeting a little girl who is psychic and trying to enter into her mind. A younger masculine is saying, she's an appetizer that advertises herself. So these ones have been harvesting, selling, buying, whatever, human life force, essence, and vitality. They've been utilizing them, the spirits and the soul within the flesh temple, as servants, and they've been treating them very, very badly while siphoning their energy and their spiritual gifts. Specific lineages. They've done their best to terminate them. See, these ones punish psychics because psychics, prophetesses, prophets, oracles, telepaths can see their shady deeds. And these ones they don't have anything to offer the world except brutalization, theft, and a good movie, which isn't so good for the viewer. And then it sounded like I heard a young masculine say, blood? And it sounded like the curator said, blood everywhere. He's talking about a reality show, a TV show. So there used to be a Lifetime story called Earth Woman. And every season they have been broadcasting this Lifetime story of Earth Woman across the galaxy into these spaces and places, timelines and dimensional realities, which house other humans as slaves. They've been broadcasting this torturous experience to them, keep them in line, right? Well, apparently, October 9th, Earth Woman has control. From October 9th, Earth Woman gained control over the planet. And it could be that the spiritual courts and the upper council, the upper echelon, have deemed it to be a necessary shift. She is qualified. These masculines who worship war and death feel that she's not equipped to get hostages back from Hamas. And the thing about this is this collaboration, this weird collaboration that masculines have throughout the world of, capturing people and releasing people and keeping everybody in a fear state regarding this stupid, purposeful, created and maintained collaboration, this weird thing. I don't think she's going to stand for it. To be quite honest with you, I don't think she's going to play the same game that these warmongers and worshippers of death are going to play. She thinks completely differently than these ones. And they're upset because she's not playing by their rules. She has rejected them. They're not very nice. So anyway, there's blood everywhere. And there is a reality TV show. And it seems to be that in their loss, their defeat, they are now being broadcast to those realms and dimensions that were once broadcasting the suffering of women to. They called their program Earth Women, but Earth Woman on October 9th gained control of the planet, or was gifted control of the planet, authority as magistrate, because she is not full of malice. She doesn't seek vengeance. Vengeance doesn't belong to her. It belongs to the Most High. And she is a proper transmitter receiver, gaining or getting information and sending information. She's not out here egotistically claiming, dominion or nothing. It's a collaboration between the upper echelon, I suppose. There are new Foundation keepers who may have a new show being broadcast to these human slave regions. They may be showing them exactly what has happened to those who had captured the Divine Mother Feminine, and what is happening to them now. A younger masculine is saying to others, there are riches, ... So he's psychically spying into this other world that belongs to this magistrate. Somebody said, and by belongs to this magistrate, I don't mean there is control, ownership or none of that. It's like God has a new covenant, and he happens to have this covenant with divine feminine. And these masculines who claimed that they had covenant last season want it so desperately, and they want to KID nap her and then stick a copycat in that position just like they did last system. But it's not going to happen because we have information about that. Somebody said, we're going to figure out your neighborhood, Anna. And isn't that funny? Now, I don't know why I would hear this. Unless it's somebody from a previous chapter or lifetime where I was called Anna, or unless they're talking about somebody out there named Anna. I mean, they've talked about Grace the other day, but Grace is, I think, in reference to the Holy Spirit, where Grace is your friend, but these ones were trained to take a big old crap on Grace. So anyway, you've got a group of masculines that are going to figure out your neighborhood, Anna. One masculine is saying to another that there is something about her Instagram. There was a test of strength, and it seems for a couple of feminines. They had to, quote unquote, get out of the corner. And apparently, one of them did not pass the test. They were talking about Britain the other day, and how one did not pass the test. One masculine is asking another if she's jealous. You know, these third parties, they don't know what loyalty is. There's something about a sentinel. They're talking about this witness. The other day, someone said she went deeper than they thought she did. She was able to gain access to evidence that they thought was secure, safe. They are talking about elevation. Well, perhaps she will rise to heights equally or that equal the depths that she went to. They're talking about an uicide note again. Of course, it's one of their favorite topics lately. One masculine said to another, no offense, but all you guys were concentrating on her and she imbued your energy. And then, I imagine, that she transmuted it into whatever she wanted to use it for. That's the message. I hope it brings clarity to something you already intuitively knew. And I'll see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.